The sun was rising slowly over the city, birds were chirping, people were busy heading to work. And in the quiet estate of Garden Hills, something strange was happening. A big black Prado drove through the main gate of the most expensive mansion in the neighborhood. The guards stood straight, wondering who the new owner was. They knew that house very well. It belonged to Musa, the billionaire businessman who had everything. He had shops, petrol stations, supermarkets, and apartments across the city. He was rich, he was respected, and he had a beautiful white wife named Clara. But now, everything had changed. The guards opened the gate and watched as a tall, elegant woman stepped out of the car. She wore a flowing pink dress, high heels, and dark glasses. Her long blonde hair blew gently in the wind. When she removed her glasses, the guards gasped. It was Clara. The same Clara who had once watered the flowers in that compound with a smile. The same Clara who used to jog with her dogs around the estate every Saturday. The same Clara who had disappeared after filing for a divorce from Musa. She wasn't crying, she wasn't weak, she wasn't begging. She had returned as the new owner. Everyone had heard rumors about Musa going bankrupt. Some said he had sold off his shops, others said he was trying to get a loan from every bank in the city. No one really knew the full story. But now Clara was back, and she wasn't just back to visit, she had bought the mansion, the very house she used to clean, decorate, and pray in. A year ago, Musa and Clara were the most admired couple in town. He was a dark-skinned African billionaire and she was a white beauty from Australia. They looked perfect together. Their wedding had trended on social media and people used them as couple goals. Clara worked remotely from home. She was a software engineer earning big dollars. She didn't flaunt her wealth. She never compared salaries with Musa. In fact, she never even brought up the topic. She was always respectful and gentle. But Musa started feeling uncomfortable. One day, Clara offered to pay for a weekend vacation to Mombasa. "I'll book the hotel and flights, love," she said, smiling. Musa frowned. "Why will you do that? I can pay." "But I just wanted to treat you," she replied. "I'm the man, Clara. I can take care of you." She didn't argue, she said okay, and never brought it up again. From that day, Clara started hiding her salary. She stopped buying expensive things, she made herself small just to make her husband feel big. She loved him that much. She cooked his favorite meals, rubbed his feet, prayed with him, supported his dreams, and never complained. Everyone who saw them thought they were living in paradise, but Clara didn't know her husband had a secret. She didn't know that Musa was about to meet a woman who will destroy everything they had built. Now, a year later, Clara stood in front of the mansion, holding the keys in her hand. She walked slowly through the gate as the guards bowed. Her high heels clicked against the tile floor. She opened the door with grace. Everything was still there, the same brown leather couch, the same curtains she has bought in Dubai, and even the family photo on the wall, but Musa was nowhere to be seen. He had moved out 2 weeks ago after losing everything. Clara had bought the house using a company name, so he had no idea it was her. She stood in the living room and whispered to herself, "You tried to bury me, Musa, but you forgot I was a seed." She smiled, walked to the balcony and looked at the sky. And her story was just the beginning. It started with one small lie. Musa came home late one evening. Clara was in the kitchen wearing a soft yellow robe, preparing chicken curry, his favorite. The whole house smelled like heaven. She turned around with a warm smile. "Welcome home, babe. How was the seminar?" Musa dropped his laptop bag and kissed her forehead. "Darling, we had a long panel session. I need a hot shower." Clara smiled and nodded. "Your towel is ready." But there was no seminar, there was no panel. Musa had spent the weekend in Naivasha, laughing and dancing and drinking with a beautiful African woman named Atieno. He had met her at the mall one afternoon. She was tall, chocolate skin, and had a wide, captivating smile. She was dressed in a tight red dress that hugged her calves like a second skin. When Musa saw her, he forgot everything. His business meetings, his lunch, even the calls from Clara. He followed her through the perfume section. "Excuse me, miss," he said, trying to act calm. "You dropped something." He turned and looked at him confused. "I don't think I dropped anything." "You dropped my attention," he said with a grin. Atieno laughed. "That's an online boss." "But it worked, right?" Musa smiled. She smiled back. He asked for a number. She gave it without hesitation. That was the beginning. They started chatting every night. She sent him pictures, voice notes, love emojis, and Musa, blinded by love, started falling for the charm. He told Clara he was traveling for business seminars, but each trip was actually a vacation with Atieno. He went to Diani, Zanzibar, and even Cape Town. Clara stayed home, folding his shirts and praying for his success, but Musa didn't notice. He was too busy buying Atieno perfumes, wigs, and expensive phones. She started asking for more: new shoes, spa days, and weekend trips with the girls. Clara, meanwhile, worked harder. She closed big deals online. She wanted to surprise Musa with a beach plot for their anniversary. One evening as they sat on the balcony, Clara said softly, "I've been saving up, babe. I want to buy us land by the ocean." Musa frowned. No, no, no. You don't have to do that. I'll buy it. I just want to be part of your dream, she smiled. But Musa didn't smile back. Inside, he felt small, jealous, even though he had more business, he hated that his wife was doing so well financially. That's when things started changing. He became cold, easily irritated, and distant. And Clara, blinded by love, tried even harder to please him. She begged more, prayed more, smiled more, but nothing worked. One night, Musa came home drunk. Atieno had made him angry. She had asked for 800,000 for a family emergency, and when he had delayed, she called him broke. Clara helped him to bed, removed his shoes, and covered him with a blanket. And she knelt beside him and whispered, "God, please help my husband. Whatever he's going through, heal him." But the man she prayed for was already slipping away. Musa was addicted. Atieno knew how to twist him around her little finger. She laughed at his jokes, touched his shoulder when she spoke, and always wore tight dresses that left little to imagination. Musa forgot how to think straight. He started ignoring the business, employees began quitting, shops were running without supplies, but Musa didn't care. Atieno had asked for a weekend in Dubai. "I need a break, babe, but I have a meeting that week." She crossed her arms. "Fine, I'll go alone. I'm used to being disappointed." Musa booked 2 first-class tickets within minutes. Meanwhile, Clara was home making candles for the anniversary dinner. She had decorated the house with flowers, cooked pilau, and even wore a red dress he liked, but Musa didn't show up. He sent a text at midnight. "Sorry babe, last-minute conference." Clara's hands trembled, her tears dropped onto the cake she had baked. She didn't say anything, she just prayed. The next day, Clara started researching secretly. She joined a WhatsApp group for women in tech. She attended online webinars on investment. She started saving in foreign accounts under a different name. Musa noticed the change. "You're always on your laptop," he snapped one evening. "What are you even doing?" Clara smiled. "Learning." He scoffed and left. Atieno continued draining Musa. She demanded a car and he bought her one. She asked for an apartment and he paid rent for 6 months. His accounts were dropping fast, but his pride was louder than the truth. His friends warned him, "Bro, that girl is bleeding you dry." Musa laughed. "You're just jealous." Then came the day he opened his business account and he found 43,000 from millions to nothing. It was a rainy Thursday. Clara was cleaning the bedroom when she heard Musa's phone buzz. He was in the shower humming. She ignored it at first, but then it buzzed again and again. She picked it up, then the screen lit up with a message. "Babe, I miss your lips. I miss your touch. When are you coming back to me?" Clara's hand froze. Her heart dropped. Her knees weakened. She didn't scream. She didn't confront him. She just walked slowly to the living room and sat in silence. When Musa came out, he found her watching a documentary about women billionaires. "Why are you so quiet?" he asked. "Just tired." He didn't notice anything strange. He just wore his cologne and left. Said he had a meeting. Clara nodded. That night she cried in the bathroom. She beat a towel so her sobs wouldn't be heard, but something inside her snapped. She stopped being a wife and became a warrior. Clara turned her pain into power. She moved her savings to a hidden investment account. She contacted a financial advisor and began learning real estate. She bought property silently using her cousin's company name. She created a brand, launched her website, and sold digital products. Every dollar she made, she invested, but Musa didn't know. He was too busy chasing Atieno, who was now threatening to leak their photos online if he didn't give her 1 million. Musa was sinking, drowning, broke. One by one, he sold his shops, his cars, his shares. Clara bought them secretly, hiding behind corporate names. When he listed the mansion for sale, she contacted the agent anonymously. A month later, she signed the papers. Clara stood at the gate holding the keys. The house where she once cooked, cried, and begged for love was now hers. Musa was staying in a small rented apartment. Clara sent him divorce papers with a simple note, "Thank you for setting me free." Musa sat on the torn cushion in a dimly lit bedsitter. The ceiling leaked when it rained and cockroaches ruled the kitchen. It was far cry from his past life, his mansion with golden facades, heated floors, and Clara's warm hugs. Now, there was no Clara, no Atieno, no house, no business, just silence and shame. He hadn't signed the divorce papers yet. He stared at them every night like a ghost from his past. Clara had sent them through a lawyer. Her note was short and cold. "Thank you for setting me free." He still remembered the night he found out she had brought the mansion. He had shown up at the house to check something. The watchman refused to open. "This is my house," Musa shouted. The man looked confused. "But Madame Clara bought this house 2 weeks ago." Musa stood frozen. She had known all along about Atieno, about the lies, about everything. While he was destroying himself, Clara was building her empire, silently, smartly, sweetly. He signed the papers that night with shaking hands. Atieno disappeared just as fast as she came. The day Musa told her he was broke, she laughed in his face. "You're joking, right?" she asked. "I'm serious, things have gone bad." She checked her nails. "Well, that's not my concern." Musa blinked. "Atieno, I've given you everything." She looked at him like he was a stranger. "Exactly, you gave, I didn't ask." Then she walked out. No goodbye, no thank you, just silence. The next week, Musa found out she had left the country with another man, a white tourist she had met in Zanzibar. She had scammed Musa, mailed him, and vanished like smoke. Musa collapsed on his floor that night. He didn't sleep, didn't even bathe. He just lay there thinking of Clara. Clara transformed. She was no longer the sweet girl who waited with warm food and warm hugs. She was now a boss. Her Instagram was filled with luxury, branches at rooftop hotels, meetings in power suites, and captions like "Secure the bag, not the boy." Women started admiring her. Men chased her, but she wasn't interested. One day, a YouTuber interviewed her about her sudden rise. "How did you build this empire in silence?" the host asked. Clara smiled. Pain wakes you up, betrayal teaches you, but peace makes you powerful." The video went viral. In 1 week, she gained 200,000 followers. She launched a mentorship course for women and made over 3 million in 24 hours. Musa saw the video from his small room. He cried. Not because she had become successful, but because he was no longer part of her life. One hot Saturday afternoon, Musa decided to visit his old office building, the same one he once ruled with pride. The security guards barely recognized him. "Boss, Musa," one of them asked, eyes wide. Musa forced a smile. "Yes." They shook their heads. "We thought you left the country." He walked into the building and saw his old office, now under a new name, Clara Holdings. He stood at the door frozen. Just then, Clara walked out of the boardroom. She was in white suit, heels, clicking confidently, surrounded by her team. When she saw Musa, she smiled. They stared at each other for a moment. "Clara." "Mr. Musa," she replied calmly. "I just wanted to say sorry." She nodded. "I forgive you, but I'll never go back." Musa's eyes welled with tears. "You are too good for me." "I know," she said and walked away. Clara grew, Musa faded. Then one day, Musa received an invitation in his email. "You are invited to the wedding of Clara and David to be held at Paradise Gardens." His hands shook. He scrolled down and saw a picture, Clara glowing in her engagement photos with a tall, handsome man. David was a software engineer from South Africa. They met at a tech event. He treated Clara like a queen. Musa dropped his phone. He had lost her for good. He sat by the window that evening, sipping cheap tea, looking at the orange sky. It was over, but deep down, Musa knew he had destroyed himself. The sun was merciless that Saturday, yet Paradise Gardens shimmered with elegance. White roses lined the aisle. A live band played soft jazz. Guests in white and gold attire whispered about how breathtaking the bride looked. Clara stepped out of the vintage car, her dress hugging her calves like it was made of clouds. Her veil floated on the wind as she walked down the aisle. David stood at the altar, eyes fixed on her, his face painted with awe. Some guests wiped tears, but someone else watched from a distance, Musa. He wasn't invited officially, but he came anyway, standing behind a tree hidden like a thief. As Clara said her vows, he felt something break in his chest, not because she was marrying someone else, but because she had finally found happiness without him. That night, Musa walked home barefoot, his shoes are torn just like his past. Musa's life after Clara's wedding turned darker. He sold the last piece of his land he had to clear debts. He now lived in single-room Mabati house next to a noisy garage. His phone barely rang. His once famous name had disappeared from business circles. The only thing he had left was a battered notebook filled with failed business ideas. But something stirred in him one night as he watched a motivational video on YouTube. The speaker said, "Your fall isn't the end. It's a new beginning. If you're humble enough to start again." Musa wiped his tears. The next morning, woke up early, wore his only clean shirt and walked to the garage. He asked for a job as a cleaner. The manager laughed. "Ha, you? Musa the billionaire?" Musa bowed his head. "I just need to start somewhere." The manager gave him a mop. Musa scrubbed grease off floors every morning. He arrived at 6 a.m., left at 7 p.m., and never complained. One day, he noticed something. The garage owner was losing customers due to poor record keeping. Musa offered to help organize their system using his old business skills. Within weeks, customers' complaints dropped, sales improved. The garage owner was impressed. "You are wasted as a cleaner," he said. "I'm making you the assistant manager." Musa smiled for the first time in months. By the end of that month, he was in charge of operations, slowly started saving money. No vacations, no women, no pride, just work, water, and worship. He wrote a note and stuck it on his wall. "You can rise again, but only if you kneel first." One cold Wednesday morning, Musa got a strange call. "Is this Mr. Musa Omondi?" Yes, who is speaking? This is Olivia, Tieno's sister. Musa's heart skipped. She's in hospital. She mentioned your name before surgery. Please come. He hesitated then agreed. When he arrived, Atieno looked weak, her skin pale, tubes ran into her veins. She opened her eyes and smiled faintly. Musa, he froze. Why did you call me? I was wrong, she whispered. I took from you. I broke you. Musa sighed. You didn't even break me. I broke myself chasing lies. She blinked slowly. Forgive me. I already did, he said softly. He stayed with her for an hour, then walked away. That was the last time he saw Atieno. 2 days later, she died of internal complications. Musa stood at the grave in silence. Sometimes closure comes wrapped in pain. 1 year later, Musa was no longer the same man. He now co-owned the garage. He had opened a small spare parts shop beside it. He lived in a simple 2-bedroom house in a quiet neighborhood. He walked to work, ate home-cooked meals, prayed daily. One Sunday morning, passed by a TV shop and saw a familiar face on the screen. Clara. She was being awarded a Businesswoman of the Year. She looked beautiful, powerful, happy. He stood there and watched and noticed. That night, he wrote her a letter. Dear Clara, you are my miracle. I was your mistake. Thank you for loving me when I didn't deserve it. May God bless your new life. Musa. He didn't post it, he folded it and placed it inside the Bible. Some stories are better left unread. It was raining when Musa heard the knock on his door. He opened it to find a tall man in black coat holding a leather file. Mr. Musa Omondi? Yes, I'm from Wema Real Estate. I believe this is your former property. He opened the file. Inside was a deed, a house Musa had sold when he was bankrupt. Musa nodded. Well, the man continued, the current owner wishes to speak to you. Before Musa could ask, a black Mercedes parked near his gate. Out stepped Clara. He froze. She looked even more elegant than he remembered, wearing a pink suit glowing like peas. Musa, she said softly. He stammered, what are you here for? I wanted to return something that was never mine to begin with. She handed him the new title deed. You bought my house? He asked. Clara smiled. With a different account, yes. I wasn't trying to punish you. I just didn't want it to fall into the wrong hands. Musa stood in silence, rain dripping from his hair. That night, they had tea like old friends. No bitterness, just memories and new beginnings. Clara returned the next week, not with flowers or accusations, but with an offer. I want us to start something together, she said. A business. You have the brains, I have the capital. Musa blinked in disbelief. After everything I did for you? You taught me something, Musa. Love isn't enough. People need purpose. Maybe this time we will build something with purpose. They shook their hands like business partners. Within months, they opened M&C Auto Hub, a fusion of Musa's garage experiences and Clara's digital skills. It went viral on social media. The story of the billionaire who fell rose again and partnered with his ex-wife was trending. People from all over Africa visited their business. Clara and Musa didn't live together, but they worked side by side, respectfully, professionally, and peacefully. Sometimes healing doesn't mean going back, it means growing forward. Just when things were smooth, the past talked again. A young woman appeared at their shop with a baby strapped on her back. Musa, she said, holding a letter. He took it and read. It was from Atieno, written before her death. Dear Musa, if you're reading this, I didn't make it. The child you're about to meet is yours. I didn't tell you because I didn't want to ruin your life even more. Her name is Malaika. She's yours. If you'll have her, love. Musa's heart raced. Clara watched silently from a distance. The child stared at Musa with familiar eyes. He bent down, touched her tiny hand and waved. Life had given him a daughter from a broken past. That evening, Clara helped set up a small room for Malaika behind the office. She didn't speak much, but her actions were loud. Kindness doesn't have to shout. Musa became a father overnight. Malaika changed his routine, feeding times, doctor visits, sleepless nights. But he embraced it all. One day, Clara saw him struggle with diapers and laughed. You've changed, Musa. I had to, he said. Failure taught me more than success ever did. Clara nodded, tears in her eyes. One Sunday, as they all sat under a mango tree, Clara spoke softly. I used to pray for you, you know? Musa looked at her. I prayed you'd become this man, she continued, even if it wasn't for me. They sat in silence. Then Clara handed him an envelope. Inside was a certificate. Musa Omondi, winner of Kenya's Most Resilient Entrepreneur Award. He stared at it speechless. Sometimes God answers prayers in chapters, not all at once. 2 years later, Musa stood on a big stage in Nairobi. The crowd cheered as he began. My name is Musa Omondi. I was once a billionaire. Then I lost everything chasing a fantasy. I had the woman who loved me, fell for a woman who scammed me, and hit rock bottom. But today I stand before you not because I rose fast, but because I learned slowly. The crowd went silent. In that journey, I discovered the real wealth isn't money, it's people, it's peace, it's purpose. Backstage, Clara and little Malaika waited. After their talk, Clara hugged him. "I'm proud of you," she said. He smiled. "Not many people get a second chance. Thank you for giving me mine." They never remarried, but they became a team, raising Malaika, building businesses, mentoring youth, and inspiring a generation. And every evening, as the sun set behind their quiet home, Musa would look at the sky and whisper, "Some losses are wins in disguise." This story teaches that greed and infidelity can destroy everything you've built, no matter how successful you are. A loyal partner should be appreciated, not taken for granted, especially when they stand by you in silence and love. Quick pleasures and flashy distraction can lead to painful losses. Even after betrayal, growth, forgiveness, and redemption are possible if you are willing to learn and change. Lastly, women who are quiet are not weak. They can be powerful, strategic, and smart when hurt. This story is a powerful reminder that not everything that glitters is gold, and losing a good woman might cost you your entire kingdom. True love, trust, and humility are more valuable than money, status, or beauty. Thank you so much for watching. Your support means everything. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Stay tuned for more exciting tales coming your way, bestie. Mwah.